I'm Amy Henshin from Colorado State University Extension San Luis Valley 4-H Robotics program. In this video, in the Teaching Challenge-based robotics series, we're going to talk about the Joust Challenge. In this head-to-head challenge, which was developed by our friends at RoboRAVE International, teams use a simple line-following program. And while they're navigating that line, they're trying to knock off their opposing team's water bottle knight. You're going to require a minimum of 2 teams to run this challenge.
The Joust Challenge requires a number of supplies. You'll need to start by setting up your jousting track. For that, you can download and print the mat file from our website. Or you can create your own using white paper and painter's tape. To create your own mat, you'll need to set up 2 4-foot long parallel tape lines on a large piece of paper, which are about 10 inches apart. You'll then place a curved angle at one end of one line and the opposite end of the other line. This is the starting position for both robots. You'll need to draw in scoring lines and a center line. Download a detailed diagram with exact specifications on our website. For each knight, you'll need a 20-ounce aluminum water bottle. To prepare the bottle to hold our lance, we'll start by cutting a 3-inch long piece of 1/2-inch wide clear plastic tubing. Next, we'll run a 20-inch zip tie through this tubing and then secure it around our water bottle. For the actual lance, you'll use a chopstick. To provide more surface area for striking the other bottle, we attach a size 6 cork to the end of the chopstick. To do this, start by hollowing out a space in the cork to fit the end of the chopstick in. Then use hot glue to secure the cork to the chopstick. Once the lance is complete, you can slide it into the tubing to create your finished knight. If you don't have access to a cork, get creative and use other materials to create the tip of your lance. RoboRAVE International switched to using a drilled 40-tooth Lego gear at the end of their lances in 2016. The last step to completing your knight is adding the magnets, which will help the knight stay upright on their robot. To do this, line up 3 3/4-inch button magnets in a row and wrap them with clear packing tape. Then open your water bottle and deposit the magnet strip inside. Then resecure the lid. Teams will also need a wide canning lid to mount their knight on. Plan on having different tapes or other materials available for kids to secure this to their robot. I like to use painter's tape as it leaves minimal residue on the Lego pieces. You'll also need a tape measure to make sure the jousting platforms the kids build for their robots are in the permitted range. This challenge is a great introduction to using one color sensor to write a line-following program. The slight curve at the start of each jousting line and the various scoring zones create a nice challenge of balancing speed and accuracy. Lots of resources are available on the internet to teach basic line following. I find the most important concept to get across to kids with a one-sensor line follow is that they are really following the edge of the line. Talking them through if a robot is seeing white or black and what the robot should do in either case can help them understand the basic concept. I run this challenge in approximately 3 hours. The first 2.5 hours are for kids to design, build, program, and test their robots, and the last 30 minutes are for running jousting matches. For the build portion of the day, kids are encouraged to build using all of the standard Lego pieces in their kit, along with any motor and the color sensor. Teams will need to build a jousting platform for their knight to sit on. This platform will need to hold the canning lid and support the weight of the water bottle knight. Kids can attach the lid to the platform with Lego pieces or with tape, but it cannot have a lip around it. The knight must be able to fall freely off the platform. Monitor the designs throughout the building process to make sure kids understand this requirement. In addition, the platform kids construct for their knight should be no more than 4 inches in front of the robot and no more than 4 inches off of the ground. They also cannot extend over the center line on the mat. Most teams choose to put this platform out in front of their robot or off to the left side, so that the knight's lance will reach the opposing team's knight. Teams should work on building their platform and working on their line follow program during the preparation time. Once they have their program working, they can run practice matches against other teams. During matches, teams are allowed to experiment with different lance heights and placements. After the build and practice time is complete, you're ready to run scored joust matches. If time permits, I like to allow every team to run a scored match against every other team. However, you can also just use a random draw to assign matchups. For an official run, have each team line up their robot in opposing starting areas. During this time, teams should queue up their program so they are ready to run with the push of a button. They should also study their opponent's robot and adjust their lance's height and angle accordingly. After allowing a short time for this setup phase, give a countdown of 3, 2, 1, joust. On joust, teams should hit the button to run their programs. Points are scored in this challenge when a knight knocks off their opponent. The closer the knight is knocked off to its starting point, the more points the victory is worth. Scoring is based off where the knight ends up on the mat. If it lies in between two scoring areas, the higher value is awarded. A robot is disqualified if it is not running a line follow program or it loses the line during the match. You can choose to score matches in one of two ways: single elimination or cumulative points. In single elimination, you allow teams to joust until one knight is knocked off. That knight receives the points and the match is over. In cumulative points, you allow 5 jousts to occur and you award points in each match, win, draw, or loss. We use RoboRAVE scoring, which makes point values worth 10 points less on each subsequent pass. This gives teams incentives to knock their opponent off early. See the score sheets in the resources section for details. After you complete all of your joust matches, total up the scores for each team and declare a winner. If your teams enjoyed this challenge, consider entering the event at your local RoboRAVE competition. Visit robokirky.org to find the competition nearest to you and to download their competition rules.
That's it for the Joust Challenge. Thanks for watching, and remember that you can download complete challenge directions as well as a number of other resources on our website.